here at our Stranger Refuge is a different Sunday morning experience. We are a Bible-based ministry, but we're hoping that it will create a space where people feel safe taking their masks off.
We're going to be doing food every Sunday, so come and get fed spiritually and in your tummy. Chrissy Rasmussen, Andrew's wife. Snacks for the kids.
Food shop. Our fun to get. Yes, kids snacks.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Earth Stranger Refuge. Thank you for coming, especially on 4th of July weekend, all of you. We know you had a lot of plans, so thank you for putting it off. If you're not sure what Earth Stranger Refuge means, that's kind of an odd name. It comes from what we are. We are a Christ-centered ministry, and we believe that He was everything that He claimed to be. We believe He was the way, the truth, and the life. And when we personally accept Him as our Savior, our residency, the status of our residency on earth immediately flips to become residents in heaven. So we become strangers then on earth while for the remainder of our lives, because our residency is with God and His kingdom in heaven. So we're now temporarily ambassadors for Him here. Okay? And refuge, this is a safe place for us to get together and just worship God and experience His glory. Okay? So that's Earth Stranger Refuge, but it's also open to everybody who feels like a stranger in any way. So whether you feel like an outsider in this world in some regard, at home, at work, in the community, culture, whatever, you're welcome here. This is a safe place for you to come and find refuge. Okay? So our core values are truth, sharing, and transformation. They work together backwards. Sort of, we believe that people can be transformed by somebody sharing the truth. And that's what our mission is here at Earth Stranger Refuge, is to find and share stories. We do this in the form of truth talks. We use the TED Talk format for that. A TED Talk is just a brief, it's somebody, an innovator in the field of technology, entertainment, or design, sharing an idea that they had with the audience in hopes that the audience understands why it's such a good idea. So they do this in the form of short, powerful talks. And we're going to mimic that format here with truth talks. Okay? But we want the speaker here, whoever is giving their truth talk, to share their story of God's glory. We believe that God's glory is in your story. So that's what these truth talks are all about. We want to hear how knowing Jesus, the truth, has somehow exposed lies in somebody's life by understanding that truth and knowing Him as the truth. So hopefully the audience then will also see some lies that may be in their life and feel like the truth was revealed to them through this person's truth talk. So we call this area up here the mountain. God is our refuge. We are all on some journey in some way. We've been in valleys, we've been on peaks, and wherever we are on that journey, we want to hear about it and what you've experienced about God's truth. So we invite you to come and tell it on the mountain. He's our refuge, the mountain, our mighty rock, and we want to lean into Him, stand on Him to share His glory. Okay? And then one more thing, we have this purple coffee cup. Okay? While we give our truth talk, we are sharing with others how God has filled up our cup. So let me back up a second. I've noticed that society kind of uses coffee cups as like a shield to place in between themselves and other people in conversation or whatever, to guard sort of as a shield or a safety blanket or something like that. So it's a wall. We want to take that and use this now as a symbol of tearing down walls, knocking down barriers, and feeling safe to be vulnerable with people. So when you're giving your truth talk, you are doing just that. You're breaking down the barriers that the enemy used to have with the lies in your life by sharing the truth that you've learned, and also kind of in a figurative sense, your cup's overflow is going out to the people you're sharing, okay? So each person who gives a truth talk is going to get their own special purple coffee cup. It's an achievement award, and it'll be a symbol that you've given your truth talk, okay? It's like a badge of honor, a milestone on your journey. It's a big deal, okay? So that being said, we're about to hand off a new purple coffee cup to the first person so far. Her name is Sara Kelly. She's a hip-hop dancer. She's a teacher. She's a missionary. And she's going to be sharing with us today some truth that she's learned from building teams, the teams needed for her to have a dance team, have a missionary team, and just a support system in walking out her faith in general. So everybody please welcome Sara Kelly as we hand her the first purple coffee cup. There you go.
Wow, thank you all so much. I'm really excited to get my purple coffee cup and be a part of this. This is the first church service at the Schmidt Artist Labs. Yes, I am Sara Kelly. I'm a hip hop dancer. I'm a missionary. I'm an artist here, and I do film as well. So that's my next big feat, is to get into the film world, and that is also where I've had some of the biggest challenges. So I wanted to share with you guys some things that God has taught me in building teams. When you're team building, first, are you qualified, and what is your role? And then also, are the people on your team, are they called and qualified in what their role is? So just kind of qualifications in a nutshell. That's my truth. So the first part of this is, am I qualified? I gotta pull the plank out of my eye before I, bring other people into this. To correct the last thing he told me before I step back out onto the battlefield. If God told me, this is why your project went wrong, I need to figure out what that is and correct it. Then I have my shield of faith up, and I'm gonna believe it goes right next time. But if I go forth into the battle and I don't have that corrected, it will I see the same things repeating. Like, for example, one thing God was telling me is, when your friends tell you they want to go travel with you to these dance battles. I travel and I go to dance battles, and that's where I do a lot of the missions work and build a lot of the connections that I build. So when my friends tell me they want to come with me, I would say, yes, that's awesome, that's great. And I have a lot of spiritual moms that are like older women that kind of watch out for me. And so these women are telling me they want to come to these hip-hop dance battles with me. And I was like, I would love to have you come. It would make me feel safer and everything, but they would come, and then I'm like, they would be like shocked at the circumstances, and they would be upset, and they would, they would yell at me, and I'd be like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. What God was telling me was like, take the time up front and see, are they called to go on the dance battle, or does, your spiritual mom just want to go visit her son on the West Coast, and she wants to stop at your little battle on the way. I'm doing like heavy ministry and I'm getting involved with people and I need to like, make sure that we're there to get to the battle and we're there to like pray for people and build kingdom at the battle. So that was one thing he was teaching me. So that actually happened like 3 times. And then a friend of mine that doesn't do hip hop ministry asked me, hey, can I come travel with you next time you go? I want to go to New York. And I said, why do you want to go to New York? And I was like, yes. I didn't just like be like, yeah, let's go. And why do you want to go to New York? Well, there's this guy I'm talking to on the internet, and he's a Christian, and he lives in New York, and yeah, I want to see what you do with the battle. So I'm like, okay, like, there's that right there. Like, there's, when you're at the battle and I need you to have my back, but you want to be doing something else, like, there's where the difference lies. And so that was one thing God taught me, and that girl is still one of my closest best friends. Honestly, all those people that I have brought with me and I have not done that with, I still have issues in our relationship with because of that. And it was devastating to me. So it's like, well, I feel like when we step out on our calls, like the enemy's gonna try to throw whatever he can at us. So that is one thing I learned. Don't go back out until you have applied. And it was awkward because these are my friends. And I'm like, basically, can I see your resume? Why do you want to go? And it's turning into an interview. But like, when I did that and had that awkward conversation God told me to have, that girl remains one of my best friends. And I could tell her, I need to have that conversation with you because I value our friendship. The power of agreement. My one friend, I prayed about it and I prayed about it. And I'm like, God, I really feel like you're telling me to build a team when I travel. Who should I travel with? And there's another girl that she is a Christian. She does hip hop ministry. She doesn't have a family. She's also a single woman. She'll travel to different things and set up. And he was like, Cindy, to call Cindy. So, and I had been, God just put her on my heart. So I started calling her and just like talking with her and like building with her. And one day, Cindy asked me to come to a battle with her because she already goes. So she's already called, she's already qualified. She does this on her own. She do it with or without me. So when I went, I also have a fashion line that I sell to help fundraise for like the ministry. This is it, hip hop fashion. And like she also has a fashion line. So it was a really good fit. Like it was something where God's like, she's definitely qualified to be on this team and you're qualified to be on her team, so it's gonna go well. I went to that jam and like not only did we plant some good seeds and do some ministry, like I probably made like almost $1,000 worth in like selling the fashion, which was just a little side note, but I feel like he blessed that obedience. Like I've never made almost $1,000 in selling fashion at like a hip hop breakdance battle. So that was pretty like, it was just kind of shocking and mind blowing, but like Cindy also had good discernment about where to go. It was like, I go to battles that are really women-friendly environments, like they either have B-girl battles or a girl is running the jam because it's a very macho environment, so I don't do well in certain other places. And so having her as a team member was like beyond valuable because I really felt like she had my back. She already knew how to navigate. So yeah, the power of agreement. And then having supportive friends. God also told me, he's like, do you have any friends? Like after I got saved, I was very much surprised at the abilities he gave me. I felt like I had superpowers. I had originally, been told I was stupid, so I thought I was stupid. But when I realized I had the mind of Christ and I could do all things through Christ, I didn't want to leave that. And so I left my old lifestyle and I just stayed at home. I learned how to dance for the first time. I didn't dance before that. I learned how to video edit. I never tried to do hard things with technology before. So all these things I have been starting to do since 2008 occupied a lot of my time, and I was I went to military school, so I was very hard on myself. I would push until I would die for whatever I had to die for, because before I died for the world, so I died for Christ. So I was very much into my goals to the point where it was probably kind of hard to be around me because I didn't have a lot of just chill time or downtime. And as I was push. So God asked me, do you have friends? And there was an opportunity that I had to perform for the Minnesota Timberwolves, and I was on an all-guys crew for 3 years. And I gave that opportunity up because it wasn't a ministry opportunity, and it was hard being the only girl. and we would have had to practice a lot more to reach that goal. And I was like, we're not even pushing towards ministry. I know I'm feeling called to do more women-based things in the hip hop culture. Like I'm not gonna go for this opportunity. And it's not about fame anyways. Well, now that I've stuck with Christ, I'm seeing in hindsight I can use those opportunities where I have those little bits of fame that I can give him the glory, and I'll keep giving him the glory. So I'm like, man, that would have been a great opportunity and God told me, he's like, even if you would have had like one girlfriend to kind of just laugh off some of the stuff that like guys are constantly talking about. It's like being in a locker room with guys, like they just talk about whatever they want. You're just like, oh, praise the Lord. Like, and so God told me that, and I was like, no, I don't have people that I feel like. So I prayed and I made a list of people that I thought would be, good to connect with, and surprisingly, some of the people didn't. Like, we just have different lifestyles. Again, like qualified. A lot of my friends, are moms and starting families, and they're not dealing with anything of the same thing that I'm dealing with. I do know some B-girls that have, families and things like that. It's different. So, and the other thing was that some people just aren't interested in the inner workings of the ministry, and they just like the performance piece of it, or they're not, the process is kind of like, it's not interesting to them. So, but I have one friend, that I met. She's a Christian actress and really wants to learn how to dance. And I saw her continue to like talk to all the dancers online and pray for them and things. And I was like, I have to get to know this girl. She's interested in dance. She, is steady trying to like talk to the dancers. And she also is an actress, which I want to get into acting, and I'm super interested in that. So like we just like hit it off, and she was in Texas, but we've been like talking. We can talk about anything and everything. Like we talk on the phone. And then there's my other friend, Raquel, that I've known for the longest, which is nice to have the longer term friends. And she knows my story, and she knows how hard I pushed in the ministry, and she knows like the the ups and downs that I've gone through. And she just doesn't do any of that. She's a nanny. She also understands, guarding your heart as a single woman. We find what we can relate on, and like she loves hearing my story. I don't know why, but she loves hearing all the inner workings of everything, and we talk about anything and everything. And I care about both of those girls dearly, and I want to watch over them and give them any encouragement or advice on their lives that I can. And I feel so much stronger now. Like I feel so much stronger that I could have taken that opportunity to do something like that, now that I have dear close friends that like we're friends, whether that goes well or whether it's a complete failure. So it's that type of relationships that really also have now qualified me to go to the next level of things, is having that deeper friendships. And also they'll give me godly advice. Like if I say something off color or off the wall, like they'll put in truth right on top of it. And then I'll think about our conversation, and I'm like, I'm so glad that she said that. And both of these girls have godly values, so they're not just gonna be like, oh, who cares, do whatever, like, or oh, what did you say, go kick your butt. I don't need any of that. Like, it's something that like we're all building kingdom, we're all focused on Christ. So it's the right type of friends that God has brought as I prayed for them and as I was ready to receive them and be a good friend too. And then the last thing for am I qualified is ask for feedback when I am also ready to receive it. Like I just did a recent video project, and I had a new videographer on, and I asked him if he wanted to come to a reflection meeting, and he was like, no, I don't. Here's where I humble myself and I say, why? And your feedback is valuable, I'd like to know what it is. And he told me, he was like, well, you asked me to be the cinematographer, and I'm using, film terminology. Like, he's like, what role do you want me to play? And I'm like, well, I want you to be the cinematographer, the director of photography, which means you make sure the scenes are all set up. And I had done a storyboard, so I had all the pictures laid out. So he was like, okay, like normally you would have a conversation with the cinematographer, the cinematographer. You'd sit down ahead of time and like ask them, hey, this is my vision for this. How do you want to shoot it? and then he would be able to tell me, okay, I want to shoot it this way. And so, because on set he was saying, do you have a shot list? Do you have this or whatever? And I was like, no, I don't. Can you go forward with this, or are you able to do this? And he was like, yeah, but he wanted that shot list, and I knew, you know, I wanted to hear from him like what I could have done to like prepare better. And so that was his advice, to have that conversation in advance, put the ball back on his court so he could think about how he wanted to shoot it. And I was like, that's a great idea. You're the one behind the camera. You're the one that has to do that. I was asked to act in that film, so I couldn't do the camera. All I did was plan it and direct it in the storyboard. So I needed, you know, him to have a good vision on it. You know, he wasn't interested in like my feedback, which is like, we needed a steady cam for you because a lot of the footage came out shaky, but that's okay. And I also would have a steady cam next time we're ready to go. But like his feedback was very valuable and something that I will use next time. The other thing is he's like, basically, you just wanted somebody to hold the camera that could follow basic direction. And I was like, okay, so next time I either need to tell them that, I just need somebody to follow basic direction and hold a camera and not be like, I want you to be the cinematographer and like whoop-de-whoop and like all this fancy stuff, and then he just is following basic direction and holding camera. No, put the hard stuff up front. Yeah, it's already planned. I really just need somebody to follow basic directions to camera so he doesn't get excited about using all his gifts. Or take that extra time and give him that role and say, how do you want to do this? And then, okay, that sounds good. Let's do it. And we have a plan and we can go forward. So next time, I want to be able to you know, either have that conversation or give him that simplify and be more realistic about what I need and or don't need. So yeah, and that was all from asking feedback. And so feedback is also really valuable as well. Whether or not they want my feedback, like I will still grow from their feedback. Yeah, that is, am I qualified? These are just things that my relationships have been ruined because I didn't follow God's direction. Things that I just don't naturally see. Qualified individuals. So like, don't try to fit a thumb in an elbow. Connect them with the other part of the finger on the hand, and then they'll be happy. So somebody that is a cinematographer, like he's so close to being connected where he wants to be connected that like it's easy to get a little bit of feedback and figure that out and how to make that knuckle stronger. But like somebody who is like an elbow and you're trying to put them on a hand, like they're gonna be upset. And so another church mom or older lady that I like grow with in the church, she loves film and video, and is one of the first people that I talked to about film and video. I bring her with me to a dance battle. And at first she also sings, so she gave her testimony and sings. She's having a good time. She feels like plugged in. The next 3 days was like all just straight dance battle stuff. It was just hard for her. We drove across the country and we drove back. And I'm not a sightseer. Like I'm like really like we were about the mission, we go back. So, and I had to be more flexible and like we need to like stop like for more bathroom breaks and food breaks and like different things that I'm like budgeting for this trip. Like I'm trying to just cut every cost and every like short-term thing that we can. So like, I have to be more flexible already on the trip. And so, and what I'm saying, like we had a fallout, like these women were screaming at me and I was like, I didn't know what to do. And I'm just like, God, I'm sorry. I used to fight people in high school, so I don't want any issues at all. Like I'm just like, oh, I'm sorry. Like it was just devastating for me to have people, I felt like they turned on me. Like I felt like, you know, but I also understood why they're screaming, like I don't know. That was the worst sad feeling ever. And so with her, I realized if I have a film project that Karen is acting in, which she loves, they drove all the way to the AMCTC Actor Models and Talents for Christ for her daughter to Florida or California or wherever it was. She will drop anything and she'll full attention. So I started to realize like I brought Karen into the wrong part of the ministry. I need to just, you know, save and respect her time and energy for when it's film stuff and just wait. So that was another lesson God taught me is like wait till people's energy is they're excited to get out and spend it and they're not thinking about anything else because they're where they're called to be. That is the truth that I'm starting to really need to learn and apply. And yeah, really the more developed people are in their callings, the better. For example, with my dancers, like we're shooting a music video and I was like, oh, I need a camera person. So one of the dancers is like, oh, I'll do it. I'm like, do you have camera experience? Yeah, I do. And then we get on the set and I look at the footage and it's like, it's pretty shaky to the point where like I can't use the footage and it's also out of focus and stuff. And so I was like really upset because I had artists come and I had to book the room and I had to get all the props and I had to set everything up and like now we have footage that like we can't really use. And I'm thinking, I'm like, I know he's a great dancer, but have I seen any of his video work? No, I haven't. And I don't want to be mad at people that I like care about, but I'm like, next time I need to make sure that I see their video work. And like he's defined as a dancer. Like I've hired him to do dance jobs that I can't do myself, and he does a phenomenal job. And I trust that. With the video thing, I'm like, I've never seen any of his video work. He's younger, so how much experience could he have in that? And I should have really checked and made sure like he doesn't have any clearly defined video work. And that was the truth of it. So for me to, expect that to go super smoothly was not the best idea. If I would have had, now I have all my cinematographers send me their video work in advance so I can like view it. And this is a new thing that God has been teaching me is to like, check that out.
Join us next week, Truth Talk. It'll hopefully have the result of other people feeling safe and vulnerable enough to share their own truth talk and create relationships and share their story. So please come back next week and join us.
We'll see you next Sunday! Woo!
What we're trying to accomplish here at our Stranger Refuge is we're hoping to create a space where people feel safe taking their masks off.